What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new review for The Real Housewives of New York City, season 15. Well, this is season 2 for these ladies, but this is season 15, episode number 2. And this episode is titled You Can Run, but You Can't Ride, you guys. Now, I don't know why the name of this episode is that. I mean, I kind of get the you can't ride part, but I don't get the play on these words with this episode, but it is what it is. But before we do get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop checking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of New York City. So I do want to know your thoughts, your opinions of this episode. Um, we'll talk about it. What I will say is I thought about it after I got off the live last week, and I thought to myself, I was like, am I being too harsh on these girls? Am I comparing them to the original Roni crew? And so, I kind of said to myself, you know what? I think I am being a little bit harsh on these girls. This is their second season. Let's give them a chance, right? Let's see what they can do. Let's see what they can bring, and let's see what they can prove. And I also was like, on top of us trying to get to know them, they're also trying to get to know each other. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, so go into it with that mindset. So that's where we are, right, you guys? But again, like I said, down in the comments in the live chat, please let me know what you guys think about this episode and we'll discuss it. So it it wasn't really a whole lot to discuss in this episode, to be honest with you guys, because I don't really know where to start, but I guess we'll start up with the person who, in my personal opinion, gave the least in this episode. And I honestly feel like is this her? Well, it's between Jenna and Raquel. But yeah, it's Jenna and Raquel. So with Jenna, we get Jenna and we see Jenna. So Jenna's son is getting ready to go off to college, right? And so Jenna is out and they are doing what is it called? They're doing rock climbing, right? Now, did they ever? I don't know if I saw it on the screen. That young lady that he was so hugged up with, was that his girlfriend? I know one of them was her assistant, but I never noticed if that was his girlfriend or not, or if it was just somebody that he was or really cool with. Because I still don't think they ever show that girl's title, but it is what it is, right? But yeah, Jenna is, like I said, she's with her son, and they are just, hanging out. This is going to be some of the last few times that she's hanging out with her son before he actually goes off to college. I think she said he's going to Northeastern College. So, yeah, that's really all we got with Jenna. We also did get in this episode with Jenna, we did see as in this particular scene that Jenna got a new car. So she got a $200,000 Bentley, right? I was like, well, if she can afford a $200,000 Bentley, sis ain't got no money problems. So I'm kind of confused where that came from when it came to from Bren. But as I've stated before, I think when it comes to Bren, I think Bren is really trying too hard with this show. And I also think that Bren is just looking for the moments, but the moments aren't really there to stir the pot, to be messy, to kind of be like Sheree from Real Housewives of Atlanta, Ashley Darby from Real Housewives of Potomac, Whitney Rose from Salt Lake City. I think she's trying to be like those people, but it's not landing because I honestly feel like when it comes to Brent, I just really feel like Brent is just trying too hard. But again, you guys can tell me your thoughts and your opinions down in the comment section below, and we'll move on to the next person who I said didn't give a whole lot, and it's gonna be Raquel. So with Raquel, I don't expect a whole lot from Raquel right away because Raquel is still the new girl on the block, right? So we're still just getting to know Raquel. But we did find out from Raquel that, her fiance, God, I forgot that lady's name. Her fiance is a psychologist, right? We also found out she doesn't cook. And, that's literally all we got with Raquel in this episode. Literally all we got. Like, if there was anything that I missed, you guys definitely feel free to jump down in the comment section about Raquel. And let me say this real quick. The fact that I just said that she didn't give us a lot in this episode again, I'm not knocking her or anything like that. I'm just saying that in that scene that they showed us of Raquel, very little came from that scene. We saw her with her kids. I did see that her son is 17 and her daughter, I think, is like 13 or 14 years old. Um, she has dogs. Now, the fact that she was feeding her, here's the thing when it comes to animals, right? Because I've done this once before too with my cousin's dog. Gave the dog a chicken bone, right? Dog, her name is Charlie. She was sniffing around, right? And I was like, "You want a bone?" And she just looked at me like, "Yeah." She wanted the bone. She took the bone. She chomped down on that bone, right? But then she got sick. I was like, "Oh, my bad, sis. My bad, little cousin. Didn't mean to make you sick, right?" So I was looking at her feeding her dog the human food, and I was like, are those things that you can actually feed to a dog that can their stomach ingest that kind of stuff? That's the only question that I had when it came to Raquel. But yeah, you guys, that's really all we got with Raquel. Let's go ahead and move on to the next person. So the next person we're going to discuss is the pot stirrer herself, Bryn. Bryn, Bryn, Bryn. When it comes to Bryn, I don't necessarily 100% like Bryn, but I don't necessarily dislike Bryn at the same time, right? Like I said, when it comes to Bryn, I can see Bryn for her works, right? I think that Bryn is looking for moments and she's, you know, trying to stir the pot. But for me personally, I don't necessarily know if it sticks or if it lands, but you guys will tell me how you think and how you feel about that. But with Brand, I just don't think that it sticks, right? I think it's like I said earlier, it's given she tries too hard. So Brand invited Aaron over to her home, right? And what I will say about Brand is Brand was being very passive aggressive. Now she said that her elevator didn't work, so Aaron had to take the stairs. I don't know how many flights of stairs Aaron had to take. If it's more than two, I would have been like, you know what, production, have her come downstairs and talk to me outside because walk up how many if it's a lot of flights of stairs, I'm not gonna do it, right? So then at one point she took out a glass to get, pour some water in it. And I think she had the Evian water, but she was like, you know what? Let's just get this bitch tap water. Ugh. I'm sorry, tap water. Girl, that is so nasty. But then when Aaron came in, Bren was not even inviting when Aaron came in. She was sitting on her couch and she was on her phone. And I was like, wow, girl, passive aggressive much? Like her attitude. And it wasn't even like she didn't even, it's not even her saying anything. It's the nonverbal cues. She's non-verbally basically saying to Aaron, like, girl, I don't like that you here. I don't want you here. Go on somewhere. That's the vibe that I got, right? So Aaron sat down and they started having a conversation. And here's my thing with Bram. I think Bram is looking for a moment with Aaron because the things that you're upset with Aaron about is not necessarily things that Aaron did to you per se, right? Because you're mad about this situation with Sai. Yes, Sai jumped into the conversation with you and Aaron in last week's episode, right? And you felt like Aaron should have said something to Sai. I was like, girl, Sai had an issue with you. She saw in her mind an opportune moment to address you. Was it opportune? No, because it looked like, two people were ganging up on her, right? You have Aaron saying one thing to her, then you have Sai saying something else to her, right? But at the same time, Sai was coming at you as well because she had just heard from Jenna that you were the one that told Jenna that she hated her. So that was her golden opportunity to say something to you. So I don't understand how you're upset with Aaron. So then Aaron also apologized to her for the Jeff Lewis thing. And I'm still sitting here to myself. It's like, Jeff, even, and if I'm not a fan of Jeff Lewis, I don't see it for Jeff Lewis, right? But what Brand made up in her head, Jeff Lewis didn't say. Those must be things that you think people think about you, because Jeff Lewis didn't even call you. He didn't even say anything negative or derogatory about you. Those were things that you internalized, and then you flipped it around in your head to believe that, right? But again, Aaron apologized. Would I necessarily have apologized? No, because again, I don't think Aaron did anything wrong. But you guys can definitely tell me if you agree or disagree. But I didn't feel like Aaron did anything wrong. So then we get into this whole situation about the Jenna thing, right? And so Bran is saying that the reason that she brought up to Jenna what Aaron said is because after this interview, she got over it, right? And I'm like, you didn't really get over it. And so she said she told that to Jenna, and Jenna was like, wow, you really got over it. And so then she started thinking to herself, did she get over it too soon? Girl, there's nothing to get over. It's not like Aaron didn't call you out of your name. Aaron didn't say you sleep with men for money. Aaron didn't say any of that stuff. So I think you're projecting. You're projecting. But they were able to move forward, and I was like, thank God. Because what I will say with New York City, right? I do like the fact that so far with these girls, there's nothing, everything that they argue about is very trivial and very lighthearted. So I will say that I do like that and I do enjoy that part, right? But yeah, that's really all I got, you guys. Feel free to let me know your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions down below. And we can go ahead and move on to the next person. You guys, who is the next person I want to talk about? Like I said, this episode, it was just a lighthearted episode. So let's talk about Uba real quick. Where's my girl Uba? All right, so here's Uba. Now we see Uba. Uba. Mm-mm. 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 So Uba, the second interview look that you have, Mama, what in all of hell is that look? Because my God, today, girl, that wig is a no. Baby, that wig is an absolute 100% in to the O. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It looks like a feather duster. That wig looks like a feather duster. If I've never saw a feather duster in my life, let me see, because somebody tweeted it last night, and I'm finna see if I can't find their wig. Because Uber, you knew better. A model should not be wearing. You know what? Because Han Chanel Ayan are related, and I want both of them when it comes to their wig game to up it to get better with their wigs because the wigs just don't be wigging. Now I will say that this week's wig in this confessional, the last one that we got, the first interview wig we got, looks better than this current one because this current one, girl, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ham, no ma'am. Mm-mm. Destroy it, right? Destroy that wig. Destroy that wig, girl. That's all. I'm gonna repeat it one more time. Destroy that wig, because. So while I'm looking for this picture, Uber. Again, I love my girl Uber. I like my girl Uber. I like Uber a lot. Beautiful girl. So Uber in this episode, so they're getting ready for their first cast trip, right? And so their first cast trip is going to be to the Hamptons. So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, so what they're going to be doing with the Real Housewives of New York? I guess they're going to go back to the like what they used to do with the original Roni, like when it came to Dorinda. Every season they would go to Dorinda's house in the Berkshires, and people would complain about sleeping in the shark room. So I was like, I guess the Hamptons is going to be the new Berkshires for this iteration of Roni. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, but Aaron, I hope you have food this time I hope you have food. I hope that you have food, beloved. So Uba is out shopping. And so she's out shopping and she's joined by Sai. Now Sai, what I will say about Sai is the hair choice for Sai in this particular scene, it was like, my God, what is up with the wigs this season? Is the budget not there? Because that hair that Sai had, I was just sitting there looking at it like, girl, no ma'am, right? So we found out with Uba that Uba is having, I guess, like some plumbing issues in her apartment. So Sai was asking her, like, so what are you doing for like, baths and showers? So she said she's, staying at a hotel and sometimes she stays with her boyfriend, right? And then she also said that, with her boyfriend, I guess things are getting really serious with them because she said that he turned down a job for her. And I was thinking to myself, it's like that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? And I'll explain why I say it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because that means you guys are on, you're in sync with each other, you guys are falling for each other, and the relationship is progressing. And they're also the reason why I say it could be a bad thing is because you don't want there to be any, him to at any point have resentment for not taking a job that maybe he wanted or he likes, right? So that's why I say it could be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. So they also then talked about this situation with Bren and Aaron, right? So I think we're all on the same page when it comes to Bren, that Bren just takes a takes a mountain and make a molehill out of it, or put 20 on 10, so to speak, right? When people say things to her and she takes it back and she flips it. Like, I think that's what happens. Oh, I also forgot to mention that with Aaron and Bren, so I guess at some point Jenna did have some money problems. And so I guess that Bren internalized that as Aaron was taking a cheap shot at Jenna. But okay, I mean, whatever. So yeah, here go the interview look of Uber. What the fuck is this? What is this wig? What is it? It's hideous. I have never saw something so well, yes I have. Ashley Darby wore a similar ugly wig before, but my God, this wig is atrocious, beloved. Please throw her in the trash and let her never see the light of day again. Throw her in the trash, throw her in the incinerator, throw her somewhere where she will never, and I mean never, see the light of day. That is all I got to say, Uber. You knew better than that. Uber knew better. So next up, you guys, let's move over to Sai. So we see Sai and Jenna out, right? Now I didn't say this last week, and I didn't even really think about it last week's episode. But Sai, Mama, just because you don't use the words "I hate someone" or if you say "I don't like someone," yes, hate is a very strong word. But if you hate someone or don't like them or dislike them, those are all synonymous. Now, again, hate is a very strong word. So I get you harping on the word hate, but at the end of the day, you still said you didn't like Jenna. So tomato, tomato. is, in my personal opinion, tomato tomato. So it's apples and apples, not apples and oranges. But okay. So Sai is talking about her daughter getting ready to go to high school and how the high school that she wants to go to, you have to audition to get into it. I was like, wow. It's so, in my hometown, we only have three high schools. It's a two public high schools and one private school, right? Now that one you do have to go through a process to get to it, but it's interesting when you hear other people who live in bigger cities and they talk about their kids having to audition to go to high schools. It's like, wow. But I expect that more from like the performing arts schools and stuff of that nature. But hey, so Cy and Jenna, they're also talking about, the fact that Cy blew up at the party and how Cy is trying to be a different person and not trying to blow up as much, right? And like I said, I don't know if I said this last week but if I did or didn't, I'll say it this week. Cy, I think you were doing a little bit too much in that particular moment um with Bren. I think you were doing a little bit too much. Yes, Jenna had just told you that she was the one that said that, you hated Jenna. But as I just said a few minutes ago, hate is the stronger word of dislike, disdain. I don't see it for this person. It is the stronger of the two words, but ultimately they all lead down the same road. I don't rock with her. I don't fuck with her. I don't see it for her. So I don't know why you got so upset about it. Did she flip words? Yes. That's what you could have said to her. Like you gaslight and you flip words and you try to make things worse than what they actually are. You could have said that, but you didn't say that. But instead, you were like, "Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan." And I was when she said that last week, I was like, "Wait a minute, girl, you are no Candace Dillard Bassett." And I'm not saying that Candace is the only person that can say, "Not today, Satan. Not today, neck. Not today, ankles." We don't have it. Now, I'm not saying that Candace is the only person that can say that, but Candace is the one who effortlessly delivered that line to Giselle. Not today, Satan. Not today, neck. Not today, ankles. We don't have it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Right? So, Sai is also still saying that she wasn't happy about the fact that Bren told Jenna that she said she hated her. And I was like, okay, girl, again, semantics. Semantics. Now, so I did say that she did try to apologize to what's her name? Bren. She apologized in the group and she sent Bren a separate text message where she apologizes to her. And she said that Bren left her on red. And what I will say is I'm not upset with Bren. If Bren left her on red, that's her prerogative. That's her decision. If she felt so strongly after that interaction and that she didn't want to have a conversation with you, then that's her business. Like she didn't have to respond to you. So um yes, I let it go, girlfriend. Let it go. So lastly, you guys, let's go ahead and wrap up with Aaron. So Aaron in this episode, I'm gonna ask your opinions about Aaron once we get to the part of the episode that I want the opinions. You guys let me know what you think, right? So the beginning of the episode, we see Aaron and she was with her mom, and you guys know that her mom has cancer. Her mom has cancer, and I also did read in under the Bell Perspectives comments in her review last week, Miss AKA, she left it in the comments that Aaron's father passed away on premiere night. So my deepest, apology, my heartfelt and deepest, you know, I empathize with you guys, empathize with Aaron, right? My condolences for the loss of your father. I know that is something hard to deal with, right? So I send all my well wishes to Erin, her siblings, her kids, everyone who loved her father, right? And so we see her, so she cut her hair. And I thought this was sweet that with her mom, she cut her hair to the length that her mother's hair is currently. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then we see them at a wig store, and so they're buying a wig. And Aaron is also, I knew that in that one interview, I was like, this has got to be a wig on Aaron's head. And she said it was a wig. I was like, I figured that was a wig. It was a nice looking wig. I'll give you that, Aaron. It was a nice looking wig. So Aaron is talking to Uba, who came down, right? And she's talking about how hurt she was by Bryn, going to Jenna, telling her what she told her at a time when Aaron needs all her friends the most, right? So Aaron feels that with Bryn, like I said earlier, that Bryn puts 20 on 10 when she goes back and recounts stories to people. I will agree with that, right? So then we also got into, she talked about she and Abe. Now remember, in last week's episode, she didn't really want to discuss the issues with she and Abe. But in this week's episode, she now in this scene with Uba, she didn't really talk about it, but later in the episode, she did talk about it. And so we'll get into that. So we see as she and Abe, they went out to dinner. Now, you guys let me know, what do you guys think about this, right? She did let him know about the conversation between she and Bryn. And so she brought up the issues with she and Abe. So the first thing was that so they had a Bitcoin, right? Now I'm not somebody who understands Bitcoin like that, so I can't really speak on Bitcoin, so I can't speak toward it. But she did say that they had a Bitcoin, and I guess it was worth a good amount of money, and Abe sold it before the value of the Bitcoin, I guess, increased or decreased. I don't know, but she wasn't happy that he did that behind her back. That I can give her to, right? And then she also talked about the fact that I guess they previously had a business together, and when they, you know, dissolved that business, I guess there was some debt that the business still had, and he handled the debt, but he didn't let her know. That I'll give her to, right? Like, you're in debt and you didn't tell me, so you're keeping things from me. So let me know, like, how upset would you guys be with that stuff, right? Let me know how upset you guys will be in that particular situation. And that was really it. So the end of the episode, which this is dealing with Aaron's trip. So the ladies are, like I said, she said that the ladies are going to the Hamptons. So I feel like the Hamptons, like I said earlier, is going to be the new Berkshires for this group of friends. So everyone's going, but some people are driving, some people are flying on a private jet, on a private plane, a private jet, right? Or actually, it's a private helicopter. So the ones that'll be flying on the helicopter is Bryn, Rebecca, and Jessel. Now, they ultimately thought that Jenna was gonna come, but Jenna was like, no, she wanted to enjoy her new car, so she's gonna be driving her car. Uba is driving her car, and she's gonna have Sai with her, and also Raquel is driving her car up there, right? So, like I said, the only ones that are on a private helicopter are Jessel, Bryn, and newbie Rebecca. Now, when it came to Bryn, like I said earlier, I think Bryn likes to have moments because she's asking Rebecca about her being, I guess, being in Scientology. And it really honestly didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I also know that they broke the fourth wall because Rebecca was like, the article about her in Scientology just came out just before they had started filming. And it's because Brent was asking if people asked them about the Scientology, how does Rebecca want them to respond? The easiest way that you can respond is say, I ain't got no comment. That is between Rebecca and you. Like, if Rebecca wants to answer that question, Rebecca will answer that question. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not answering that question. Like, that's the response that you give to somebody. I don't speak on my friends or my coworkers or anybody like that, right? And anything that's going on in their personal lives. If you have a question for them, you direct that question to them. Don't ask me just because I am in proximity to this person. I'm not in a business like that. Ask them whatever it is you want to know. You ask them, not me. No comment. What's so hard about that? But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, you guys, and also share the video. And until the next time, you guys, please stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.